Hi guys and welcome to Prevision Week 13. We are back from the international break again, thank God for that. What an absolutely boring 2 weeks it's been. So we get back to the serious stuff now, which is the Premier League. And we start, no 12 o'clock kickoff tomorrow, we start straight at 3 o'clock. West Ham versus Manchester City. West Ham, they've had a bit of a mixed start to the season, haven't they? They started off dreadful. Then they got a couple of good results, like against Chelsea and Manchester United, and then they seem to have dipped out of form again. And Manchester City is a completely different animal to everybody in the Premier League. So I think, even though it is at home, even though West Ham are at home, I think that they're going to get absolutely slaughtered against Manchester City. So I'm going to go West Ham 1, Manchester City 3. It proved, in the Manchester derby just before the international break that they are in a completely different league to everybody else. They could have been about 8 or 9 up in the first half had they took their chances. So Man City are going to win the title for me anyway. But we'll get more to that later on in the videos. But they're a completely different animal. I can't see anybody stopping them. The next game is Everton versus Cardiff. Again, Everton started to get into a little bit of form now, a little bit of rhythm. Couple of games they could look at themselves and go, we're a little bit unlucky not to get a point, then maybe even 3. Cardiff hasn't really impressed me at all this season, so I'm going to go for a comfortable win for Everton. I'm going to go Everton 2, Cardiff 0. We then have Brighton versus Leicester, and I've gone for a tight game in this one. I think it's going to be really, really good. Could be one of the games of the day as well tomorrow. I think Leicester will nick it because I think they've got the better quality, but I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I'm going to go Brighton 1, Leicester 2. Now this one's an interesting one. We have Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. Now obviously we watched the Manchester derby and Jose Mourinho went back to being negative. He was good attacking against Everton, Bournemouth. Even though I thought that Everton and Bournemouth should have got something out of that game, maybe even Bournemouth should have even won. But then they just went negative. I think someone used the phrase, you can't park a bus if you haven't got the players to do it. I think, as I said, someone used the phrase, you can't park a bus if you haven't got a licence. Which is kind of the case for Manchester United. That's just another way of saying, isn't it? You can't park the bus if you haven't got the players to do it. It tells you everything you need to know. No disrespect to him whatsoever. But it tells you everything you need to know when Fellaini was Manchester United's man of the match for that game. It tells you that all they did was just on the back foot and just defending. They were not good enough against Manchester City. Got to remember, this is a derby. Manchester United is a big, massive name. They're the biggest name in the Premier League, and then they're just not showing that at the moment. I think they need to get rid of Jose Mourinho as soon as possible. I don't even think they're going to win against Crystal Palace tomorrow. If I was Crystal Palace are a team that are going to get in your face and they're going to have a go. Now, if I was Roy Hodgson, I'd say they're really, really low on confidence at the moment. They hate the manager. The players are not performing very well. They've got maybe 1 or 2 players that come off of the bench and nick them the result. And this is what I don't understand about Jose Mourinho. I had it under Arsene Wenger as well, so I know exactly what Manchester United fans are going through. He seems to drop players that are in form. Like, I can't remember the last time Mata actually started a game. I can't remember the last time Alexis Sanchez actually started a game. And these are the players that are actually in form at the moment. They're getting your results. And they were dropped against Manchester City. I don't understand it. And I used to say that same phrase with Arsene Wenger all the time. Sometimes it makes you feel like, are they actually asking to be sacked? Making sackable decisions like that. But who knows? Who knows what goes inside these managers' heads? But if I was Roy Hodgson, I'd say you've got a chance to get something out of this game tomorrow. I don't think you're quite good enough to win it, but I do think that we can get something out of this game tomorrow because they're low on confidence. It's at Old Trafford, so they're going to get something out of the game, Manchester United. I don't think they'll lose, but we can get something out of this game as well. So for that, I'm going to go Manchester United 1, Crystal Palace 1. We then have Watford versus Liverpool. Again, this could be quite a good game. Watford's not going to be as much as a Walker's Park as everyone thinks they're going to be just because they're against Liverpool, who obviously are the next best team in the Premier League at the moment in forms attacking-wise. But it proved, like with Arsenal, they can be got at Liverpool. I do think Liverpool will win, but it's not going to be a walk in the park like some of them think that it's going to be. So I'm going to go Watford 1, Liverpool 2. We then have Fulham versus Southampton. Again, 2 teams that haven't really impressed me this year. Two teams that I think I've tipped to go down actually. So for this game, we're going to go Fulham 0, Southampton 0. At 5:30, we have a bit of a derby. We have Tottenham versus Chelsea again. Good game. I think I think Spurs will be the better side in this game, but I think Chelsea will be like the better defending, like the defensive side of things. I think they'll be able to cope with Spurs quite well coming forward. So again, I'm going to go for a tight draw in this one. I'm going to go Tottenham 1, Chelsea 1. We now go to Sunday's games, and we have 1:30, Bournemouth versus Arsenal. Again, this is an absolutely really, really tough test for Arsenal. I was really, really disappointed with the way we played against Wolves just before the international break. It was really, really disappointing. Wolves should have got 3 points out of that game. It just wasn't Arsenal. Again, yeah, we did play Sporting Lisbon on the Thursday. Don't ever want to use that too much of an excuse because we did make changes. I just think that Wolves got the better of us that day. And I fear that Bournemouth might do the same thing. But I think because Arsenal feel that this is a must-win game for us, I think Arsenal are going to have to show their quality. They're going to have to get us out of jail. We're going to have the likes of Mesut Ozil, Lacazette, Aubameyang and all them. They're going to have to get us out of jail for this one. So Arsenal obviously don't keep clean sheets, but I'm going to go for Arsenal to win this game. I'm going to go Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 2. It's almost like a trend now, isn't it? We have to give a goal to the opposition every single week because Arsenal don't keep clean sheets. So we've almost defeated the object that that we're not keeping a clean sheet. So every single week we're going to give a goal to the opposition. There you go. And then we're going to have to work hard to get a win. At 4:00 we have Wolves versus Huddersfield. Obviously I spoke about Wolves. They were absolutely superb against Arsenal. They really, really out-tacticked us. Again, Huddersfield's a different kind of game. I think they'll approach it a little bit different. I think they'll win, but they'll approach it a little bit different. And I think Huddersfield will give them a bit of a better game than we did, actually. As I say, because it's a different game. So I'm going to go Wolves 2, Huddersfield 1. And then at 8:00 we have Burnley versus Newcastle on Monday night. And again, two teams that haven't really impressed me again this season. So for that, I want to go Burnley 0, Newcastle 0. So that is my predictions for this weekend, guys. Please to God, there's no international breaks now till at least February, March. Can't be dealing with this. Doing fuck all for 2 weeks. It's absolutely boring. I don't even want to see the national leagues, to be fair. I just can't be arsed with it. I look at it as another way of just getting more money out of people, just adding these stupid competitions. So yeah, I can't be arsed with it. Let's just stick to football now. Christmas football and everything coming up. Sounds great, doesn't it? So that's my predictions for this weekend, guys, and I'll see you next week for next week's predictions. Thank you for watching, guys.